We're on the air. So I call this meeting to order of the Wednesday, December 13th, 2023 meeting of the Berea Tourism Commission. We'll have to start for roll call. Christy Napier.
Here.
Laura Carpenter.
Here.
Aaron Crawford.
Here.
Becky Brown.
Here.
Rick Thomas.
Here.
And myself, Bill West. So we're present. We have a quorum. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Is there any opposed? So the motion to approve the agenda unanimously passes. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes from October 11th, 2023. Give you a second to look them over.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from our October meeting.
I'll second that.
So we got a motion and a second. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So the approval of the minutes for October 11th, 2023 are accepted as written. Next on the agenda is a toll update by Brian Reed, Assistant Codes Administrator and also the project manager for the toll building project.
Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we met last. We've had a lot of progress on the toll building. Last time we met, the painting was nearly complete and the demo had begun. Since then, all the interior demo is complete. The interior framing is complete. The electric has been roughed in and inspected. The ductwork is about 90% complete. The plumbing has been roughed in and inspected except for the new kitchen. They're doing that, starting on that I think tomorrow for the grease trap and the sinks, but the front half has been inspected. Most of the sheetrock, the patches, the few of the new walls and all that have been hung in the front of the building. We've got some changes to do in the rear of the building, so they're kind of waiting on some direction from us on how to proceed. But as far as all the way back to the meeting room is pretty much patched up and hung, hadn't been finished yet. We have encountered a couple of structural issues. So one of those was when they were cutting for some line sets, we saw some areas in the wall that needed correction. We had to remove a little bit of sheetrock. Pretty minor. The other is when cutting out for the windows on the side of the building that faces the farmers market pavilion, there's some cable bracing in the way of the window towards the front. So I have had a structural engineer come out, give us a recommended fix. They recommend moving the cable bracing to the back in what will be the new kitchen. So they've gave us a proposal for that, and I have got some pricing from the contractor on that. So what I propose to be the first change order that we look at on this building is install 3 new pieces of cable bracing. 1 will be on the left side of the building and 2 on the right at the rear. The engineering from the site visit that we had the engineer out, I have an estimate on that. and removal and replacement of small area sheetrock. The total on that is $3,430. And then I have got some pricing on some other things that it's nothing that'll be required, nothing structural, just things after talking to Donna, walking through the building and finding out how you all are using it that I thought it might be something either you expect you're getting or something you all want. So one is the storage room 116. If you walk in the building, that would be to the back on the left. I understand y'all plan to use that as a learn shop, and there is no mop sink back there. And Donna's let me know that plan to do some painting and we'll need a mop sink to wash out brushes. Being that it was designed as a storage room, there's no ceiling in there. Exposed vinyl back insulation. There's furnace above ceilings, not very classroom or learn shop. Not presentable for that. It looks just like a unfinished storage area. So the addition of the mop sink would be $2,800. An addition of the ceiling, the new lighting, which would match the lighting throughout the rest of the building, would be $6,680. And then it was my understanding that after walking through that some of the commission members had looked at putting some electric for a convection oven, future refrigerated case in the back of the building, and to run those circuits there to be a little closer to ready behind sheetrock would be $1,500. And so far, that's it on the inside of the building. On the outside of the building, if you pull up to the front of the building on the left-hand side, there was a landscaping area that kind of came out like a bulb, made it real hard to drive around. The tree was called out to be removed, and it was supposed to be replaced back with just dirt and sod. So I went ahead and got a price on cutting that, squaring it up. It's kind of bulb shaped now, and pouring concrete. And that was $4,500. So the first group that were the structural changes was $3,430. The second, that is more about the use and aesthetics, is $15,480 totaled up. And those were the recommendations. Since we met last, we've had one draw request that we have paid out. That was in the month of November, and it was for $108,951.85. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Brian, the concrete, approximately what size concrete?
30 by 15, depending how we can square it up, somewhere in that range.
You think $4,500 is reasonable for that work?
With the, it's undercut pretty deep because there was a stump in there, so to get down to good soils, the rock to go back, it's probably close to market rate.
Okay, so more than just got to go rock, put some rock back too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they've cut down about 8-10 inches so far to get down to better soils.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Brian, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever we do if the circuits, that'll be for the convection oven, that'll be ready to go whenever we decide to move forward with that?
Yes, if we were to cook in there, we would need an exhaust, not a hood. If we're just doing a convection oven, we would need an exhaust fan with the proper exhaust rates, and that would be electric for that as well. So all the electric that we anticipate right now needing would be back there ready to go, so we wouldn't have to be going above ceiling in the finished areas.
And on the lighting, cost of $66.80, is that just for that one room back there
That was the lighting in the ceiling,
and ceiling?
the
Okay.
diffusers, the things that comes along with the finished ceiling.
Okay, thank you.
So I totaled that whole group there, but that was what would be needed for the ceiling.
More questions? Brian, thank you again. It's a very thorough report as usual. We
you.
appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, may I call on you at this time? Will we require a approval from the board to approve the change order prior to the council? Or what would be the procedure on that? Thank you.
So we carry a vote on accepting the change orders? No. Okay. All right.
And Mr. Mayor, excuse me, will that be going forward as well? Should another change order come up, that Brian will review it with us, but we do not have to have a commissioner vote on that, so I know. Thank you. The light. Perfect. Thank you, Russ.
Okay. Sustainable Berea next, Donna, or that's last? I mean, yes, it's a different order of the documents than it is in the agenda. Okay. Next is Sustainable Berea. I'd like to make a presentation and request. Richard Olson is representing them. All right. Richard's got a warm-up act. He's very obviously important. He's got a warm-up act.
I'm Cheyenne Olson. I'm the ED for Sustainable Berea. And I just wanted to give you a couple of things to update you, because I think probably there are some people here who have not been to the So, the top page gives you some numbers. The numbers that aren't there are the numbers of people that come by. Sorry, everybody, does everybody have two sheets?
Yes, I do.
People that come by the farm, who stop at the farm and say,
Cheyenne, could we ask you to step to the podium so that we could all hear you, please, clearly? Thank you.
is this one okay? Yes, ma'am. People are starting to come to the farm who are the second generation of visitors. In other words, they said, oh, my friends from California told me about the Berea Urban Farm, and they knew I was coming to Berea and told me to walk by. So the reach is broad and getting broader all the time, and as more and more people come here, and the things that they say, I'm sure you guys know this, I won't go into a lot of detail, but they say, we went to the internet, we looked for safe towns, and Berea was in the top 10. We went to the internet and we looked for best places to be, and Berea was in the top 5, whatever. So people are moving here because there is good stuff going on in Berea. So tourism takes a lot of credit for that. I just want to say thank you to tourism. We always send you a note, a letter saying thank you after we get your gifts, but we probably don't say it in person enough. You have given us support in 2016, 2 gifts in 2018, 2021, and 2022. And this would be 2023. So we're very grateful for your support, and I want to invite all of you to come to the farm. Anytime you want to come, you want to organize a party, you want to have a picnic, you want to have a family reunion or whatever, we are open for business. Of course, you won't want to do that in the winter, but during the spring and the summer, we are available. So does anybody have any questions? So this is the main act. Thank you. Oh, I forgot something.
Well, my name's Richard Olson. I'm the director of the Berea Urban Farm, and so my thanks to the commissioners and staff for your time today. I appreciate that. So we're here because we have put in a request for funding for $2,500 to cover roughly half the cost of one of the issues of AgMag. The issue that we turned in the receipts and all for is actually the spring issue, which I hope everybody has seen by now. But what Cheyenne's handing out now is just off the press, our fall issue. And she is handing out with that a booklet that's linked to this with stories from our agriculture garden. The last time I spoke to you, we talked about agritourism and how it's the fastest growing segment of tourism in the country. And it's certainly one that's expanding in Berea. People like to come and see farms, urban or otherwise, and learn about gardening and all, particularly as food prices increase. So the AgMag is certainly something that promotes and drives agritourism in Berea. And just a few statistics about it. We have a publication run of 1,800 copies of each of the AgMags. And we have more than 50 distribution sites. And just here's our list. These are all places that we take copies of this or piles of these to be distributed to the public. So we have a very broad distribution of this. Things like Ace Hardware, Becky's Jewelry, Boone's Graham Mini Mall, restaurants, some of the motels in the area. So a lot of coverage. We also mail out more than 100 of these, many of these to people out of town. So so it's getting out there. People are reading, and we get a lot of good feedback for that. In terms of promoting businesses, tourist or otherwise, in this issue, the fall issue, there are 38 ads for local businesses or organizations, okay, including those at the farmers market and various restaurants and other stores, Airbnbs in there. And so at our 50 distribution points, then you're getting a lot of ads out there, letting people know what they can, the businesses that they can spend their money in when they come here. So the AgMag itself, we think you'll enjoy. This issue focuses on projects that we did in conjunction with a group called the Council Center for Inclusion and Belonging. Projects, enhancing our projects in ways that bring people together. And so one of those projects was our agriculture garden, and you'll see an article on page 4, I think it is, on there, where we had people come and tell their stories of a food plant that's important to them and their families. And we had people from many different countries and backgrounds and cultural backgrounds and all coming. So it was this real mix of people who kind of can be brought together by food and tell their stories and all, and that was pretty effective. And so the booklet we've given you pulls together all the stories from the 36 people who participated in that. And I think you'll enjoy these. And I will point out there's a particularly good story in here about the white half-runner bean by our mayor, telling a rather humorous story in some ways of his childhood, and he still grows the white half-runner beans today. So I think you'll enjoy that. So anyway, the AgMags, we feel, has been really successful. This is our 11th issue. It's become known. People look for it to come out. They enjoy it. It gets passed around a lot. And we have, when somebody comes to the farm, we always ask them, well, if they're out of towners, how'd you hear about us and all? And, a fair number of people saying, well, I saw an AgMag here and we read it, and so we wanted to come and see. So I think it is contributing to fostering, agritourism in our community. And so we're asking for, the $2,500, the maximum for this particular grant. The total cost then for 2 issues in a year to us is a bit more than $10,000. So it's, it's not cheap to print these things anymore or to get the layout and everything. So your contribution towards that would be much appreciated and much needed to allow us to continue to provide this to the community and beyond. So with that, I'll just ask if there are any questions. Okay.
Richard, let me ask you, what's your total operating budget for each year? I know you said that the magazine costs about $10,000.
That's right. You're talking about for the organization as a whole?
Yes.
I should have this. We're just finished the budget. Do you remember our total? Right. Sustainable Berea's full budget. Really? Okay. A little over
200,000?
for the organization as a whole, for everything we do.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, thank you again for your time, and I hope you enjoy reading your copies of Ag Mag and our Agriculture Garden booklet.
Any comments by any of the commissioners or a motion? Either?
Well, I'll just point out our total budget for this line item is $5,000. As Cheyenne pointed out, we've supported them the last several years. And I know in our last reimbursement request, it was also for $2,500, and we didn't give that amount because we wanted to reserve some for the remainder of the year.
Do you know how much we have left for what we spent?
Our budget will run through June of 2024, and we have $3,800 remaining.
And do we have other people that are asking?
They will be in February and March, yes.
Do you have any
mean,
idea of?
No, of their normal request.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just about everyone asked for 50% of whatever their receipts or marketing are, up to a maximum of $2,500 is what they're allowed to ask for, with their paid receipts turned in after the event. So until they do their event or show us receipts, we really don't know if you can match that in any way or not.
Sounds like we're running low with the 3,800.
Well, I mean, last time we had one of these requests, we encouraged other people to apply. I'm just saying, if we give $2,500 out of $3,800, that doesn't leave a lot of room to go to handle any other future requests, and it has to go all the way through June of next year. So, and we did. Like I said, the last request we had was for $2,500, which we had given in the past, and I think we only gave $1,250. Is that correct?
That is correct.
A lot of, there's no doubt Sustainable Berea does a good job, but there's,
I agree.
but there's other people in town that probably could benefit from this program also.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we should give the full 2,500 if you only got 3,800 and you need. I'd like to see it spread out more to more businesses and more opportunities too. Not that I wish we could. I wish we had the funds to do it. So you're saying we gave 1,200 to the last one?
$1,250.
1,250.
Yeah.
I almost lean towards we give 1,250 to this one too. Unless You know, I wish we knew if there's more. I mean, you'll have any idea?
I do, but that will be more than what we would have left, so we would have to cut to future people.
Oh.
Well, I agree also that we need to share, but it's also good that they're already here, asking us for the funds. It's like the early bird gets the worm a little bit. So I am good with proposing 1,500.
So is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion for 1,500.
So we got a motion for $1,500 approval for reimbursable marketing for Sustainable Berea. Do we have a second?
I'm still just a little bit concerned about, Donna, do you have like 5 that you know are coming up in February?
No, I have 2 positively
You
that
have
will be
2
making a
positively.
presentation.
People that we've given to before, Donna, or new people?
They will be new people.
Well, I guess in discussion, I would prefer doing 1,250 versus 1,500 because of the precedent we sent with the last request. Both good organizations, and the early bird does get the worm, and we did encourage people to apply. So, but it's a long way till June.
I hate to see people come in here in February that have applied, and we've encouraged them to apply, and we don't have the money, you know. So, and since we gave the other one the 1,250, I want to do the 1,250 too.
So,
But we have a motion on the table.
we have a motion on the table. So it dies from lack of a second. That motion is dies from lack of support. So do we have a motion on the table for another amount?
I'll make the motion that we give 1,250 that we gave to the previous ones, that we match that.
We got a motion for $1,250. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second. Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And we do appreciate all you're doing for the community. Next on the agenda is any public comments. I don't think anybody has registered for public comments, have they? So no public comments, and we'll go straight to Director's Report by Donna Angel.
First of all, thank you, Cheyenne and Richard, for presenting to us today. And we do appreciate all that you do on the ag side of our city for the farming piece and environmental issues. So we appreciate all of that very much. First thing on our report today is to give you an update on our Right Place Media representative. We had a short brief call yesterday with her. Her name is Marissa. And she will be working with us, and hopefully we'll get to have her here in January for our next meeting to bring us up to speed on closing out the first half of the year with us. So I think she'll do well, and we look forward to partnering more with her. On Right Place Media, we do have, so I'm going to kind of go down there first. But we do have a lot of ads that are floating around from November through December to help all of the retail businesses here in our community to have a great Christmas of sales and so forth. Some of the ads are absolutely stunning, and Danny has designed most of those. They're beautiful ads, but through Kentucky Living, Kentucky Monthly, Ace Magazine, Sophisticated Living, and lots of free paid ads we're seeing floating around for us, and great writers that are pushing things out there for us has been a big help, especially with Christmas sales from Shop Small Saturday that will continue through the Christmas sales as well. Last year was a major struggle for a lot of our shops because of the bad weather that we had that continued to go and shut down Christmas sales that week of Christmas, the biggest sales of the year. So this year we pumped more into that for marketing and advertising to help pull more people into our city to shop and so forth. And Liz has done more Learn Shop classes this year, Make It, Take It, Give It, to help promote and push new artists in town and new craft makers as well. So that has already, we've seen more traffic in town and more energy showing and good things going on with the stores. I talked with someone this morning and they said they're excited about what they're already seeing for the month of December, because even though it was bad last year, due to previous customers, they exceeded all of their goals in sales last year. So they're already above that for this year, and that's really a positive sign to see that, you know, this year is off to a good start. It's kind of a slow summer for us, but fall rolled around and tourists hit the town like crazy. The buses picked up, and Nancy will report a little bit more on that in a minute. But the buses were great dollars that were brought into our town as well to help offset some of that. Some of the things that we were highlighted in, just to keep you aware, because I know not everybody reads all the magazines that are out there. You don't subscribe to them, maybe, but you don't see the TV spots, or you don't see the Facebook post or whatever either. But we were blessed this year to have Senator Paul Rand's representative from his field office that came and visited us, and she shopped in Old Town and did a lot of tour sites with us. And she included us on the front cover of the Senator's newsletter that goes all throughout the state of Kentucky. So we did have a comment back on that the day after that was rolled out. So we appreciated them writing about how great Berea Arts and Crafts is, and the tourism that is drawn here through the state through our heritage of arts and crafts as well. So it was really a great article, and we appreciate that and being written about that. The World Atlas also wrote about us as Berea being one of the top 8 most unforgettable towns to visit in Kentucky. Fox 56 News also was here and did a little piece on, we were one of the 4 top central Kentucky cities that you don't want to miss over Christmas season. So that was really a nice thing for them to do, and it was great. It was maybe a 15-second spot on the news, but we made the news. So that was really impressive, and we appreciated them doing that all on their own. These weren't paid ads or anything. The Mayor's Merry Mingling event this year was our 3rd year that we hosted that here in town, and again, it was a very nice event. It was super cold, so we got through with huddling around the fire camps, you know, trying to roast marshmallows without them shaking us to death. But it was a beautiful event, and Danny's probably going to talk a little bit more about that, and the Children's Art Museum that we hosted this year, and so forth as well. So that was really a nice crowd that came out for that as well. The Kentucky Living magazine, again, for us is a wonderful magazine, along with Kentucky Monthly. Between those two, Danny and I have been doing some research numbers on those. We gain a lot of new visitors from those magazines, and those are really fairly, if anything's inexpensive, those are the lesser to inexpensive magazines that we can operate and talk about Berea tourism and sponsor ads in from there. So we do continue. We have both of those coming out again slightly in January. One will hit to wrap up, but we did place ads in those for November and December, which have shown good results. The Madison County International Committee, I want to touch just a little bit on that. We talk about it each meeting that we have, but that is a piece that we consider our international travel. We are really have open doors there on what we can do with bringing more international tour buses into our city. That, as I tell you each time, the governor has set aside ARPA funding for that, for international travel, and the agents are coming in here to scout our town. Through our own Sister City program, Liz was privilege to attend as a delegate in our October trip to Japan on behalf of tourism, representing tourism. So there was a lot of good meetings on that and exchanges with our homestay, but all sorts of new art exchange programs from here to there as well. So we know we have a great opportunity there, but one of the things also that our Japanese partners want to do is to create a way that we can do small tour groups from here to there on the art exchange program itself. So they too have been allotted funding through their international trade piece that they can do more with here, and that is something that we want to continue to figure out the ways that we can partner better and bring in more trade from their revenue dollars. Their countries had a lot of hits like other countries have, so this is a small way that we as a sister city program of 37 years, 40 maybe, that we can participate in, continue our growth there if possible. So Liz may talk about that a little later, but we do have a call scheduled with Japan tomorrow night to talk about the first step that we will do on trying to create a better program through our arts and crafts piece here with them there as well. The tourism staff members, I just wanted to bring you up to speed. We are excited. In mid-October, I think we were able to put some of our part-time staff members back in the Kentucky Artisan Center there. It's very difficult, honestly, to track the responses we're getting from that. When the visitors from there, through Robert Elam and others that are working there on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, they're doing a wonderful presentation on all the things around Berea that we have to offer, not just Old Town, but trying to find ways to move them into the city before they exit the Kentucky Artisan Center. But they are trying as much as possible to jot down and track how many people that they do get to speak with in an appropriate way. And I think Nancy will speak on this, I don't know, but I know of 3 different people that have come into the Welcome Center and commented on that our representative in the Kentucky Artisan Center asked them to come visit Old Town and our Welcome Center to get more information about Berea and to see more. And we've had, I've had 2 calls that visited restaurants that hadn't been mentioned, and that's what we want, we get 7 good responses back and 7 new people off the interstate that visited there but came on into town. Which is great. And we had one couple that did stay overnight. They decided it was just a couple that were on their way back to Tennessee, and they had stopped for lunch and a rest break, and they decided to just spend the night, So the hotel reaped a piece of that, as well as another restaurant for the evening and shopping and exploring our city. So that's our purpose, and we enjoy doing that. So we're glad we can be back in there and working more on that. We will be changing the marketing wrap behind the podium where we have our place to stay there. There was some slight rain damage on the wall there, so the Kentucky Artisan Center will be repairing some of the wall work in there. So once they tear the wall out, then we will be replacing that with new wrap, which is needed anyway because it is an older model of what used to be around town. So we look forward to changing that out. The Artisan Village, our street light banners and flags came in. The banners for the street lights are just really very pretty. We should have brought them because they're over in the building. But they're very bright and attentive and great color pattern. So we're going to kind of wait till we get through Christmas and maybe some of the snow in January, and then we will get those back up to highlight and bring some sunshine into our Old Town Broadway streets and so forth. The shops receive new open banners as well, and they match our street light flags. So they're quite a nice package, and as we start our new sign package, renovating and upgrading all of our signage throughout town will be the same color pattern that we have selected to work with this, so that we stay uniform. And that will be a major task that we'll have to work on next year, how we want to approach that and what steps we want to take on doing that as well. The tourism staff also attended the Kentucky Artisan Center's 20-year celebration this year. It's hard to believe they've been here 20 years, but they have. It's a beautiful, beautiful center, and you can't blame people for not wanting to visit there. They house a lot of working artists, or not working artists, but artist products, which is amazing. And they too are going back to demoing and bringing in working artists on Saturdays and the weekends as well. So that is more traffic in there that we get to talk more about our whole city as well. But that is a nice venue, and it does add to our city, and we are thankful that we do have the Kentucky Artisan Center in place, and we enjoy working with them on a lot of things. I was privileged to present to the Lions Club last month, or early this December maybe. They knew very, very little when the gentleman called me about tourism. So they wanted to hear more about what is tourism's role and is it really needed in a city. So that led me to think, if there's one civic organization that doesn't know a lot about what we do and what tourism really, what our role, our input in, and how we assist in what we have in our city for activities, entertainment, draws to people from everywhere, then many other people don't know it either. So that's an area that I look forward to working, to spending more time with the nonprofits and the civic organizations to really share all the things that we do, host, sponsor, build, put in place for all ways of attracting more tourists to our city. You know, tourism is a much bigger piece than people realize, and it plays a major role in the beautification of our city all year round. If we didn't have all of that, we would not be a very attractive city. If we did not have the rights to promote and host our city throughout magazines or different organizations as we travel for all these conferences, it would be kind of sad. So tourism does a great job, and the staff, part-time staff, they're all great winners and do wonderful work for our city. So we will be doing more, and I have asked and been asked to bring tourism commissioners along to some of these events because they don't know your faces and your names and your roles. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity going forward in January that we start doing that and presenting what we really do in our city for our city. So I'll be reaching out to each of you to be a guest each month as we present to these different organizations about our role. So it'll be wonderful. Just to keep you apprised, each year we do close our Welcome Center for Christmas Eve and give our employees the opportunity to be home with their families on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we will be closed those 2 days. We also want to remind you that as we start January, that we always shut down on Sundays in Old Town. The Welcome Center is closed. More than 50% of our merchants shut down January, February, March, and they head to Florida. So we do not do paid advertising in those 3 months because if your shops aren't open, we can't pull in any visitors or tourists. So that's a very hard thing to deal with. So we at that time always have in the past, and I think it's a good thing that we'll continue to close our Welcome Center on Sundays for that as well. The next thing on my thing is I would like for you each to jot down the dates of January 8th, 9th, and 10th. Our next board meeting, commissioner meeting, will be on January the 10th. I would like to do a work session prior to that date. Can be prior to the meeting, it doesn't matter, after the meeting, but any of those 3 days, those are a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We talked a little bit about it in our last commissioners meeting, that we have a lot of repair work that we need to take action on in our Welcome Old Town area. The properties that we manage down there are in need of repair. I am seeking other bids on painting the old hotel, since no one was in favor of repainting that. At the bid that we last got, that's one of the topics that I want to be able to bring back to the commissioners in the work session. We have accepted, as you approved in the last meeting, the bid. Administrator Beverly and I accepted the bid on fixing the repairs on the new roof for the cabin that's down on the cabin lawn. So it was a very detailed, very good bid, and two did not participate in bidding at all due to the style of the structure and so forth. So we have a lot of those things that we want to talk about and prioritize on what projects we're going to take on first to pay for and get things rolling in that area. We are waiting to see when we can get, we hope in January, February, that we will be able to get the roofing company to get the cabin roof put on. They do close those 2 months positively, so that would be a great time for them to work on the grounds of that as well. I have in your package put a newsletter, just a rough copy. I had Danny print this off for you. There's never a day or every other day that I don't get a call that someone wants to know where our calendar, our community calendar of events is. And we have nothing going on in this town. So I didn't count how many pages of things you have going on here in December. But I urge you, when people reach out to you as commissioners, please tell them to reach out to us through email, through our calendar on the website. But we put out a monthly newsletter with all things that are going on, for that month. So there is plenty in this town for the month of December going on. And the more of you that share that information, it helps take pressure of all us, because we can't hit everyone through email. Our constant contact, I was talking to someone the other day about that. That is the program that we develop and create our newsletter through. Well, that bill goes up every 6 months because we keep adding anywhere from 200 to 600 people that apply and want to receive our newsletter. The whole purpose of starting the newsletter across the nation is to solicit more and more people from out of state to our Berea area. So to help offset that, we need to help promote more in our city with all the events that are going on all the time and the different activities that we do have to offer. The last thing on my list is, as we start a new year in January, I would really like for each of you may email me, that would be quite all right. You can email as a group or personally, it doesn't matter. But I would really like for you to think what you would like to see more of in your meetings, less of, or more action you would like to see taken, or any new ideas, programs, or different things that you would like to see us roll out before our June budget rolls along. We are in the amended budget stage right now, and I will be meeting with you through our work session on that as well. That will be part of our work session to go over that, anything that we have to amend for tourism's budget ending December. But our fiscal year 24-25 budget will really need some more deep thought on. Hopefully we can start on that in early March, late February, to where we start putting our thoughts in on things that we want to build into our budget for next year and take a good look at our overall budget for that. That is all I have for you. I'll take any questions that you might have or turn the floor over to the chair.
Well, I want to tell you, I think the city looks wonderful.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't understand why anyone would not say anything's going on in Berea, Kentucky. because you obviously have not gone to Boone Tavern. That place, you guys are rocking. I mean, every time I go up there, and the enthusiasm of the tourists that are up there, and and the people that are coming and staying in our homes.
Yeah.
I have 3 Airbnbs. I just opened the 3rd one, and they are coming. I mean, they're starting to repeat. They're already starting to book for next year, and I'm getting so many. Like she said, we've made a big splash, and I think to respond to your question, I'll email you too. But we've spent a lot of time the last 3 years since I've been involved. We've spent a lot of time. You all have honed in on some really good things, and we've gotten a lot of free advertisement. And my fear is to bombard the city of Berea with, if we keep bringing more and more and more, can our restaurants sustain it? And I think we just need to focus this year and be grateful for what we have done, and let's look at what can be maybe tweaked and do away with. What's working, what's not working. I think that's what our work session, that's what I'd like to see.
Very good. We can do that.
Donna, it's good to hear that we're having part-time people go back to the Artisan Center. That's good news.
That is.
As far as our work session coming up in January, I know there was a structural report on the Berea Hotel sometime years ago, and it would be nice to know where that report is, because as we've discussed, we've got some big decisions
With
about what to do with the Berea Hotel, and that structural report would be very helpful in making those decisions.
I will keep digging for that. I have gone through, I physically saw that. I reported that in your last email because I saw the actual engineering paperwork on that. And it could have been moved and archived, or I may have, passed it on to the city clerk to archive or something. But there is, it's not a huge packet or anything, but I just remember seeing it in a cabinet that I have. But I haven't been able to locate it. I was able to locate the old, through Nancy's assistance over there. Nancy helped me find the appraisal that we received before we purchased the old hotel and the cottage there. So we do have that piece. But that's another thing, if you want the work session, we will work frantically to try to find more information about the structural.
Maybe Randy
Pros and
Stone
cons.
may know about that, or one of the other council, council members. But that report would be, again, very helpful.
Very good. I'll make sure we have it.
I just want to say thank you for all of your all's work on the Mayor's Merry Mingling. I did not get a chance to leave my store because it was so busy, thanks to you all. So it looked beautiful out there, and I appreciate all the work that you do to plan an event like that, as well as decorating the town and everything. There's been many, many compliments on the decorations as well as the events down in Old Town.
Thank you, Becky. Aaron? Okay.
Thank you, Donna. We'll now hear from our illustrious program manager, Liz Todd.
Hello, how are you all? Thank you for coming today. I feel like we've not been in this building for so long, even though we just skipped a month. Well, actually, I was in Japan in October, so just kidding. That was just like a little icebreaker. No. Hi, I'm Liz Todd. I'm the program manager for Berea Tourism. I'm happy to be here today. Happy to see your familiar smiling faces. I got to see some of you at the chamber dinner, which was lovely. Thank you, Bill, for a wonderful evening. Thank you, Donna, for bringing us as your dates. We always have fun. Hope we didn't embarrass you too much. I think we got Pam to laugh a bunch, so that was good. I'll just kind of hop right in. As Donna mentioned, I did get to travel as a representative to our sister city in Hokuto, and also a couple of days in Tokyo in October. So that was such an honor. Thank you for allowing me to represent our city for the arts and tourism portion. That was a very big deal for me, and a lifetime, just something that I've never experienced before, and it's definitely changed me, and I've learned a lot from it. A couple of things that I want to just talk about from that visit. As you know, I was there from the 9th through the 17th. I was able to meet with 6 of their tourism representatives from Hokuto City, the top representatives there, as well as a translator and a sculptor and teacher who has been here before as well, and president of MCIC, Kent Gilbert, and we also had Steve Farmer and Jeff Farmer in our meeting as well. But the main focus of that meeting was to discuss the Memorandum of Understanding that tourism signed on November 8th, 2022. So they really want to do a first steps, as Donna mentioned, and what that kind of looks like is introducing each other's city to the other. There is a ton of room for international travel, particularly Asia markets. We learned at our KTIA meeting in November that the Asian markets are about 27% behind as far as travel goes when it comes to the US. But that pent-up demand is there, and they're ready to start traveling again. It's happening, we see it, and that was one of the main things we talked about in our international travel conference meeting. So I think introducing like-minded, similar cities and towns to other cities is a great opportunity, and that is what Hokuto really wants to do with a first step. What we're gonna do, what we've discussed, my team as well as some great representatives in our community, is a brief introduction to our city, what we stand for, what we're about, the basics, and that's gonna go on their website, their tourism website, and then they'll do the same for us, and that will be translated. Of course, we'll approve that. So that is all complete. We're just going to say, here's this, we've done our part in our meeting tomorrow, and then we'll move forward from there. The Japanese, the way that they prefer to do things is little steps, very concise, very direct. We don't brainstorm in our conversations, so that was the first step that they requested. So that is where we're at. That's what we've accomplished, and that is what we'll present in our meeting tomorrow, is that first step to them. And then after we get that piece in place, we'll look at the results and we'll reevaluate from there as far as what our next steps can be. We definitely want to keep the exchange program in place with arts in the schools. We've already had the Japanese students come here and stay, and we've had students from Model travel there as well. When I was in Hokuto City, was able to go to a high school. It was not in Hokuto City, but it was right outside. And I got to attend a matcha tea ceremony. I got to attend calligraphy. All these amazing things that our students from Richmond, Kentucky, or Berea, wherever they travel to go to Model, were actually taking part in these amazing high schools in Japan. And then while our students were here in Berea, they were able to experience the art culture that we have here in our wonderful city. So I just think that it's vital that we continue that relationship, as well as, like Donna mentioned, have the exchange in place where we not only have an artist here who can perhaps participate in the craft festival, which has been such a big hit, but also stay with us in our city for maybe 10 days, a week, a month. I'm proposing a month, I think would be amazing. Whether it be doing a mentor in a brick and mortar, speaking, going into classrooms, we're really gonna focus on that. But again, to reel it back in, as the Japanese would want to do and stay on task, our first step is going to do that introduction between cities, and we will share those on each other's websites. And Danny has already facilitated that link. Once we get those brief bio descriptions of our wonderful cities finalized and approved, those will go live on each other's tourism websites. So that's our next step for Hokuto City. Does anyone have any questions? That seems kind of broad and a lot of information. But on that portion, anything that I can answer? Okay, so I'm gonna go right into what else I've been working on. So I started partnering with KEDC in September. I think we had our first meeting. Maybe it was actually mid-August. First conversation June, mid-August is when Donna and I met with them. They are the Kentucky Education Development Corporation, and they are a grant foundation that procures grants for Kentucky educators, K through 12, educators and administrators, and provides programming to help them make their classroom more successful. Whether that be add elements that make it more enticing to the students is one of the main things they talked about, is maintaining that attention, making it different, not just sticking to the same curriculum. But also what really drew her to Berea and to our artists, I startled myself with my papers. What really drew her to Berea and what our artists offer is the Kentucky heritage, which I've expressed before in the last meeting that I was at. So what our artists have been presenting is not only to their art grant, but we've also picked up their history grant as well. So we are providing classes to their art teachers, their history teachers, and anyone that can kind of wiggle in and say that it will apply in their classroom. So we have the benefit of having so many amazing artists that we've worked with for so many years, and what they're passionate about is that heritage, is that history portion. So they're able to incorporate that into their art classes. And then just recently, I've partnered with Eric Brooks from Ashland, the Henry Clay Estate, and he's actually going to come to Berea at the start of the year and talk a little bit how history in the classroom has changed over the last few years. It's changed drastically, as most of you know, and he's going to be able to kind of touch on a point of view of what it looked like, what has happened, and how we've gotten there. He's going to bring artifacts. He's going to be working with, let's see, what is his name? Ian Payne. You all may know him. He's from Berea. He went to Berea College. He's a wonderful historian as well. He's here in Berea local, like I said, and we're going to be sharing some pieces with them. And then I've also been talking to Dee. Bill's like, really? And he's very, very interested in the Churchill tour as well. I briefly mentioned a little bit about how amazing it is, and we really want to do a tie-in with them for the history portion as well when we are able to get in and talk more about the Kentucky history, because we want to do the Berea tie-in as well, because there's so much rich history in Berea, of course. But for now, that's the piece that we have in place coming up in January. So if you want to look under where I have the KEDC Learn Chops partnership, you can kind of see what I've shared so far with these instructors. Chip Bailey, who is one of my amazing artist instructors, he did the Mountain Music of Appalachia. He actually was our amazing, him and his wife Diane, they were our amazing Victorian Santa and Mrs. Claus for Merry Mingling. And they were, I've got to say, some of the best Santa and Mrs. Claus we've had. So thank you to Chip for that. And then but anyway, you can just look over that schedule of what we've worked on so far. It's been really, really interesting to kind of see how the KEDC partnership has developed. For some people, of course, the very first time we met, they would come up to me and say, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to take a Learn Shop. It's just never fit with my schedule, or they're expensive, or lots of reasons. So since this has happened, our class size has grown and grown and grown and grown. Our first session, we had 28, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's so many people. And then it was doubling, tripling, to the point where I was saying, there's no room, Wendy. We're over fire code. And so the biggest thing has been finding space. We've made it happen. We've made it work. And it's just been very, very exciting to have this many K through 12 educators from representing 55 districts. Just in November and December, they have booked 68 hotel rooms in Berea. They have 195 written down. I guarantee more than 195 people have showed up for the classes, because they just be rolling in. I'm still counting. We're up to 64. This max was 35 for this class. So anyway, wonderful problem to have. It's been a very inspiring partnership, I think, for the educators, for myself to learn more, And then to have this many people come into Berea, learn more about it, and say, I can't wait to bring my family here, email me and say, I want to bring my classroom here for classes. That's happened, 5 or 6 times. So this has really been a good opportunity for not only for these educators, but also to show off our wonderful town, have people stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, and just explore Berea. We are going to partner with them through May of 2024. I have that complete schedule. If anyone has questions about that or input, I'd love to talk about it because it's been, like I said, really fun. We just wrapped up our 2023 Make It, Take It, Give It, Learn Shops on Sunday. We offered 22 sessions. We had 10 artists. I wrote 13 on here, but I went back and looked. We had 10 artists, 4 new classes, and 6 days of classes completely. We kept our classes really exclusive. So what that means is I basically invited people for a very curated, small schedule. So we would have intimate class sizes and kept it very holiday oriented. People that I had, waiting lists for, I wanted to make sure that those people were able to get back in the classroom before March. If they were asking me in July or August, it felt really important to bring them back, before the year ended and let them get their hands on whatever project or learn shop they were really wanting to do if it had sold out for them in July. So that's what I focused on. It felt great. It was a very, very solid 6 days of classes. I met a lot of amazing people. We were able to, so our first weekend, our median age for classes was 70 years old. It's awesome. It's wonderful. And then Jeff completely threw a wrench in that the last weekend because we had students that ranged from ages of 13 to 86 years old. And the feedback, it's going to vary. People are going to complain about little things. But overall, the feedback was awesome. We had people from Knoxville, West Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. I think the biggest thing, my biggest takeaway as far as things I want to do to change next year's Make It, Take It, Give It is somehow do a little more to incorporate our local community. I do know this is tourism and we want all the people from all the zip codes here visiting us and staying overnight. But I also want to do things that's some feedback I got, do things that can appeal to people that are already in town, whether that be things during the week, or just getting some feedback and finding out how that would look and how that would translate. So again, very, very happy. The 2 top, I sent the surveys out on Monday, 2 days ago, the post-event surveys for the sessions that ended on Sunday, the 10th. So I've gotten 30% response rate back so far on those surveys. Obviously, we'll probably get some more. But so far, most of the people found out about our classes because they've attended in the past. And then the rest, they found on our website. And over 90% said that they found our website successful. And over 90% said they found our instructors excellent, and over 90% said that they found the space that their classes were held to their expectations. So that's all good. Let's see what else. A few of those classes sold out: quilt block painting, rag runner, loom weaving, blacksmithing to forge a letter opener. Both of those beginner level classes did sell out. And then several of the other individual sessions of classes were sold out as well. So it was very intimate. It was a fantastic session of classes. Let's see here. Anything else? We sold about 110 tickets for, we sold 110 tickets for this specific event. Some of the quotes from the surveys, tourism office does a great job. I swear I did not write this. Tourism office does a great job. Nancy, did you? No? Okay. Becky. The tourism office does a great job of increasing awareness and traffic to the artists, who do a great job of making the art accessible through workshops. That's right. That made me happy. I really enjoy the make and take classes. I've been attending for years and plan to keep coming. There's a nice variety offered. Thanks for doing this. It's fun. And some great feedback on our instructors. They just, you know, they make it a true experience. They're passionate about what they do, and I'm so grateful for the people that see that and that see how special these classes are and that time with our artists is. So thank you, Becky, for spending your time. And we've had more than one story, a special story about people that have come in, and Becky really spent some one-on-one time.
Thank you for putting them on. I always enjoy teaching, so.
Very well. So we had a woman come from Sellersburg, Indiana, and she really wanted to complete a star for her nativity scene in her ornament class. And she had taken Will Bondurant's final shaker box class. And since then, she has created over 29 pieces using the technique that he taught her in that 2-day shaker box class. So her grandparents were enamel artists. So she, from her work trip where she was in another city, drove an extra hour to take Becky's class, the first day of classes, and learn enameling so she could carry on that tradition along with Will Bondurant's tradition. So that was very special. That's my last sentimental. You know I'm a storyteller. That is pretty much it as far as make it, take it, give it goes. Again, successful. I'm happy with it. I'm excited to do. We have some things in the works, I'll say that, as far as classes go. And then our meetings, we've gone to a lot of meetings. Thank you so much for letting us go to KTIA the 8th through the 10th of November. I feel like we learned a lot and took a lot away from it. It's interesting when you're at a conference, the different pieces that people can pull from different sessions, despite, you know, being in the same room. So very interesting to have different ears in a room and then be able to kind of discuss after and get those takeaways and how we can incorporate those things into our day-to-day in our office, in our space, in our positions. Again, Merry Mingling, thank you all for everything with that. It was amazing. We really want to thank the Kentucky Guild of Arts and Craftsmen. They were really, really nice to participate with us in opening their doors for that. All of the shop owners that opened their doors for that day was amazing, but they in particular put on a specific program that was tailored to the theme of our Merry Mingling. It was titled Traditions. And thank you for Pam Kavatikan for being there that evening and hosting that and making it so special. Her and Renee Ray, who's amazing, out of Richmond. She owns that Main Street Gallery. They were able to also curate a collection of books from the Berea Public Library that went along with that theme of traditions, which tied into, of course, the Mayor's Merry Mingling. So very special. I just love when the community is so excited and eager to be a part of what we're doing, and they see the importance and they see what a big deal it is to have these wonderful free community events. So again, we've done a lot. I'll let you read through. Grateful to be a part of such a special team, and I will report back on our Hokuto City Sister City meeting that we have tomorrow at our next meeting. And thank you all for your time today. What questions do you have?
Liz, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Do you know off the top of your head how many Madison County teachers have been able to participate in your KEDC program
I have 19.
versus 19?
I have 19 written down. A really cool thing, thank you for mentioning that. A really cool tie-in is the Berea Community Art teacher, Rachel Byers. She's the new Rachel Byers. Of course, I'm the only one that's been, anyway, sorry. Rachel Byers actually showed up at our door with, how many? 97 pieces of K through 12, no. This was her project. That's why I don't know. I didn't do it. She did literally all of the beautiful children's gallery at the Mayor's Merry Mingling, which I promise I'll let her talk about. But Rachel showed up. She is the new young Berea community art teacher with 90, however many pieces of art that she said to contribute to that gallery. So we've had some amazing connections through the KEDC classes, through the community, Richmond, Berea as well. So thank you for asking.
So Liz, is this a program that's going to go on after this year?
As of right now, the agreement is through May of 2024. We're going to wrap with yoga and flower pressing to kind of give them a little gift at the end of the year. And I'm going to talk Aroma into making some especially relaxing soaps for their final date in May for being teachers, because my gosh. And as of right now, we don't have plans for, my schedule has just been created through May of 2024.
So this program's ended, or is it going to a different? Oh,
It's not ending. We just haven't talked about it past May of 2020, past this into the school year.
well, I was just thinking about, you're talking about the space you needed in the toll building renovation, and the new meeting space there would be particularly well suited to that, I think.
Today was so exciting. I was like tapping her and trying to be quiet. So yes, I'm so excited to have space and sinks and moppable floors and high ceilings and a big roll-up back door, all the things.
Rick, and adding on to your question or your answer there through Liz, it is a state-funded program for 1 year, is what we've been told. If it is successful throughout all of the counties, there's 52 or 55 counties now participating in this. It's kind of a model to see how they do, but I do believe it has been extremely pleased. We've had no negative comments whatsoever through the state or the corporation division that's managing the funding. But we hope that it will be, and they hope also that it will be a continuation down the year, But it's all state funded, so we just have to see how they get the money and if they can go another year or whatever. But it's great. It's a great win all the way around. And spacing is something we look at all the time, trying to find classroom space for all the different classes that are taught as well. So the toll building will be wonderful, and other spaces that we can find as well to use. The pavilion, we've used that, Liz, a lot. It's been extremely helpful this year to use that facility inside and outside. It's all good. We enjoy it.
I know teachers are very influential in state politics, so I would encourage those teachers, us to encourage those teachers to lobby for them to come back to Berea next year, because it seems like they're bringing a lot of people to town, and they do a good job with the kids.
I love the idea of teaching kids other things besides just technology, because the new generation, they know so much about technology, but it is nice to give them some life skills.
Any other questions? Liz, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time.
Our next staff report is by Operations Manager Nancy Conley.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. All the efforts of our team and all of you helped create these visitor numbers that we get to share each month. So October number and November was a little more strong than October if you compare historical data. But looking over at the year, so far year to date, we've had 18,562 visitors to Berea. So we're up a couple thousand compared to all of last year, so it's looking very hopeful. It's very strong. Each month is kind of different. You never know. Looking at last November, yeah, we were up this November compared to last November, but then looking back at October, our October was a little less than the October a year ago. But like I said, the overall numbers for the year are looking very strong. So thank you all for all of your efforts and everybody's efforts in getting people here to Berea. These numbers surely show, that a lot of things are working and we're in the right direction. I'm excited each month or each week that we work with a exceptional young man from Berea Community School. He interns with us, and he'll be interning with us for 1 hour every Monday out of the Exceptional Children's Service Program. And so we'll continue that through the end of this school year. There's a couple things nobody had mentioned, so I wanted to make sure and point out the exciting grand openings of a couple places here in Berea. So Studio 5 opened October 14th. That's 101 Jackson Street, so kind of, it's the white building kind of diagonal behind Popolino's in that area. So it's 5 local artists. They work in their studio space and share a retail gallery. And it's really exciting to see these new spaces and different businesses opening in town. But we've got weaving and knitting there with Rhonda Cardwell, Carmi Baxter, the mixed media, Heather Pauldine, fiber arts with a focus on macrame, and weaving Don Cardwell with photography, and Suzanne Thompson, actually one of the Learn Shop instructors, doing some mixed media there as well. The Bluegrass Kitchen opened November 15th at College Square. So if you haven't been out there to enjoy some homestyle country cooking, please do so. It's a great addition to the community. As Donna mentioned, since mid-October, we've been staffing the Berea kiosk at the Kentucky Artisan Center. We've heard so many great things about that. Danny actually had stopped out there to meet a motor coach bus, and a lot of the staff there had just great remarks to share with Danny about one of the individuals there and how he had helped fix somebody's GPS just to get them around town because they relied on their GPS. And just all of these great stories coming out of there. The thing that was that meant the most to me that I've heard from there wasn't necessarily the reports of our staff sending people into town themselves, because we know that's going to happen. They're great. Our people are wonderful about sharing all the great things to do in Berea, but it was what they've shared with the Artisan Center staff, and hearing that the Artisan Center staff have been sending people out different days of the week that our staff aren't there. So that's been really, really kind of inspiring to be able to share our information firsthand with them, and in turn, they're able to send and share more information on Berea and send people into town. So I really like that. The Berea Welcome Center wood carving group, their last day outside at the depot was October 25th. They now carve inside at the Berea, or at the Madison County Public Library, the Berea branch. And so they're there from 10 to 12 each Wednesday, and they'll stay there through the winter months. Our indoor space isn't quite large enough at the Welcome Center for them to safely carve throughout the winter. So the library was great to have them come there. So we look forward to having them back in the spring. I kid you not, on Halloween Day, October 31st, our team started pulling out Christmas decorations and sorting, fluffing the 86 wreaths that go in Old Town Artisan Village, and just kind of working through all of that. So we started one holiday early there, 2 holidays early on the Christmas. Our part-time team and our full-time staff, they all work really, really well together on preparing all of the Christmas decorations and getting them ready for the big put-up. So that happened later on in the month, but we're really excited to see how everything came together here in Berea with all the decorations. And I think Donna is on Pinterest or somewhere that getting some more ideas each year, and so it's always exciting to see what kind of new ideas she's come up with for us to execute. The Streets Department, Public Works, Berea Utilities, along with all of our staff members and you all, were just such a great big help with all the decorating, and we couldn't do it without them. So as we started to decorate and switched over from fall to our winter stuff, not only did we, had some winterizing to do of our lawn and so forth, but we took all of our fall pumpkins to the college farm and worked with the farm manager, Harned, there, and he was wonderful. I didn't know really what we were getting into. I didn't bring a video, but if you all have never fed a hog a pumpkin, you've got to do it. We need to make a whole event out of it next year. I promise. It is so much fun. Yeah, so Jeff Harned, he was very welcoming when we reached out to him, about donating the pumpkins. And sure, I'll meet you down there. I'll show you where the fence is. Don't drive over the culvert kind of thing, And so we get there, and he says, well, let me go on the other side of the fence. Well, how many pumpkins do you have? We only had 8, but they were big. It's all I could do to get them out of the truck and hand them over the fence. And one of our part-time team members was with me that day, and we got them over the fence, and we thought we could just throw them on the ground. No, you had to really break them open, and that's when the fun started. Once those seeds were kind of exposed, those hogs went wild. First, they went wild because they didn't know who we were, and we interrupted their space. But after they noticed those seeds were flying out of the pumpkins and it was time to have a snack, they started coming over, and it was the best show. So next year we've got to make kind of an event out of that. So what a fun way to just reuse things that we already have instead of letting it go to waste. I see our staff and our team doing that a lot, and it makes me proud to work with sustainable practices and different things here in our community. So I feel like I'm always behind, but I know we're reporting from October and November and so forth. So yes, we did Halloween at the park. Partnered with the Berea Parks Department, and Sierra and myself set up a table there. Danny had created some wonderful, scary coloring sheets. Boone Tavern had a lot of ghosts and bats in our coloring sheets, and just like different scenes and views of Berea that was kind of spooky. So we handed out candy, coloring sheets, crayons, had a great time there at the park, and we were the kind of a scary themed carnival set up. So we were clowns and had popcorn that had scary critters in it and so forth. So we had a good time. From Halloween, we started planning some of the winter activities, and so we partnered again with the Berea Parks Department and offered a ornament workshop for youth in our community. And this was a lot of fun. We did this at the Berea Senior Center, and different families came out and created these ornaments with us, and we asked them for every ornament they create to take with them, would they create one to leave with us? And so these ornaments got to hang on a community youth art Christmas tree in Danny's children's art display area for the Mayor's Merry Mingling. And so that was a lot of fun. As you've heard, we got to attend the KTIA conference. Thank you all so much for allowing us to miss last month's meeting and kind of rescheduling all of that information to today. For me, I really valued the breakout sessions and all the networking opportunities. Where there was a few of us there, we got to go to different sessions. So I got to go to some sessions that were really fun. We all went to different ones so that we could kind of come back and talk about it. So most of us got to pick some really fun ones. Of course, I got kind of looped into one of the grant funding grant sessions just to learn more about the proper way to report some of the grant funding. So the Small Business Saturday, I know Danny has a lot to share probably on that. I was just so excited to be able to hit the town with Danny and hand out some information and some of the promo items for that. The Merry Mingling, I know you've already heard a lot about that. Liz talked a little bit about the Kentucky Guild partnering with us on kind of having a special exhibit that night. But one thing I wanted to point out was how thoughtful our team is. So we have the guild, and there's this really great garden path, but at night it's not lit up. And so we had, I had these paper bags that have stars and moons cut out of them and so forth. And one of our part-time people made sure we had enough tea light candles and lit that entire path just to kind of get people to flow from one area through that path down to the Kentucky Guild. That was really neat. Our team members they're just so thoughtful about what they can do and get people to move around through town proper. So that was really nice. Moving more to present, we currently have a winter coat drive in our office. So Kaylin Wilson, she organized this last year with Liz in our office, and this year Kaylin is doing the winter coat drive again, and you can drop off new or gently used coats, socks, and scarves for the room in the end at our Berea Welcome Center location or near New Auto. And that drive will go through the end of January. And this Saturday, we have partnered again with the Madison County Animal Shelter. So if you have some dry dog food that you'd like to bring it on by for our dog food drive at the Berea Welcome Center, and bring your pets with you and get a picture with Santa. Last year, this was a very, very popular event, and so we're excited to see all the fur babies and feathered babies, and I don't know. The lady at the animal shelter is hoping somebody brings their pet snake this year. So, and Danny is too. I'll probably run away. Part-time team. I talk a lot about them, and sometimes I feel like my report is about them, but my team is just fantastic. Always trying to provide support to all of the full-time initiatives. They've helped provide some support and staffing for unlocking and locking buildings through all the Learn Shops, the KEDC Learn Shops. They've provided some seasonal and event photography to work with Danny, and delivering a lot of our marketing items for the Mayor's Merry Mingling. And so we've got a lot of posters and different things like that. They're always good at getting out and delivering stuff for us. Donna challenges us every month and reminds us that we've got to get out and visit shops and galleries, restaurants, and places in Berea. And so we have stuck to it, and our team visits at least 2 shops, galleries, restaurants every single week here in Berea. So that way they can know and stay up to date with what you have to offer, what you're selling, what Boone Tavern might be decorated like, so they can encourage people to go there. Just different places through Berea, staying up to date. Lastly is the motor coach section of my report. So from October and November, we had 13 bus groups or different groups come and visit us. A couple of them, Ethan worked on his final days here with us. And then the rest, Danny and I have kind of picked up and ran with through October and November. So we've had over 500 guests come to Berea off these motor coach groups or with these different school groups that have came. Sunrise Tours continues to visit with us, and all of November or all of December, it's not on your list here, but all of December they've came to visit with us every Friday. And this has been such a fun group, you all. Sunrise Tours. They have done a stocking stuffer tour, and they purchase ornaments ahead of time to surprise all of their folks on the motor coach bus with a little wood turn snowman or something special from Berea. So we've had a really good time working with them, as well as all these other groups, but I won't list them all off for you, but we've had a great time. Either the groups have stayed at one of our hotels, have dinner with us, or just come in for a morning with us and do artisan demos and breakfast, do a step-on tour. I know Danny and myself, we've both offered a lot of step-on tours to some of these groups. So some shop the Artisan Village, some are up at College Square. A lot of them are in the some go to the Artisan Center. We've got them all over Berea, it seems like, the last couple months and this month. And I'm excited. This Friday, Sunrise Tours is coming back for the 3rd time this month for another kind of shopping experience. So this, in December, our buses this month they're in lines at the businesses shopping and getting all of their last minute things. So Sunrise, we've lucked out with this this motor coach group because we're on the tail end of their tour. And so they've already been down to the Smokies, and now they're headed back to St. Louis. That's kind of their hub, is St. Louis area. They come from all over and kind of get on the bus there at St. Louis. But so they're headed back, and December is the perfect time to have them on the tail end of their trip because they've saved $700, $800, $1,000, whatever, that they've not spent on this trip, and they still have Christmas shopping to do. So we gladly welcome all of those folks and everyone to Berea, even if they're just coming to watch our artisans and they might think to come back, at a later time to purchase from us. It's just been wonderful, wonderful. They've enjoyed watching the artisans work and shop the galleries. So that is, I'll let you read details about all those groups if you wish, but that would conclude my report for you.
Any questions, comments from the
I
commissioners?
just want to say thank you all for picking up and taking over Ethan's job when he left. I know that's a lot on your plate, and thank you for doing that.
And I just wanted to say thank you again for the tour that we did with our students.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
We've still been getting feedback from the students. We get surveys from them each semester, so I can't wait to hear what they say. But I've also had some of our part-time and full-time staff, when they found out about it, curious now. So
Bring 'em.
yeah, I think it's really important to bridge that gap, especially with our students. They don't get to leave campus a lot, so to have them come down and learn, that was really, really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. We enjoyed that. So Aaron was able to bring his student workers there at the hotel down. We did a familiarization tour. They got to visit 3 or 4 shops. And I'm sure like one of their highlights, other than, listening to me tell them all about tourism and all the things, was eating at Apollo's. So, so we had that student group, but we also had 112 kids from Hunter Hills Elementary out of Corbin, and that's listed there for you. And we had a Madison County Youth Leadership group that came. So we got to work with a lot of different age groups. The Hunter Hills was exceptionally fun for me because I got to talk to half of those students about the train station and so forth. And so I was one of their rotations. So they come for Arts Across the Curriculum, which is a program Berea has been doing for many, many years, but it's designed where the students from these classrooms get to come on a field trip. They visit with artisans and craftspeople, and they talk to them at their grade level and provide information, whether it might be the connection with history in the classroom or so forth. But they combine the curriculum there, and they have such a enormous amount of fun in Berea. And we needed one more kind of flow to make 112 students kind of flow through really good. So I got to talk all history of the train station to the kids, and they had so much fun. But lots of student groups. Thank you.
I'd like to just say right quickly, Nancy, thank you for a great report. Sunrise Tours is just an example of what you guys allow us to plan on our conferences to recruit new tour buses to our city and new folks. So that's the whole purpose we go each year to these conferences in early spring, is to recruit new tour lines, new tour agents to come here. So really aggressively working it the last 2 years has definitely proven its worth to all of us. So thank you, Nancy and Danny, for picking up and hosting the buses.
All right, next we'll hear from Danny Giff, the Assistant Director's report, which is everything else not covered elsewhere.
Not gonna lie, I was sitting over here making notes and crossing things out because a lot of us just have so many of the same things to talk about. I do want to start with a little bit of the marketing piece. So our Make It, Take It, Give It rollout was a lot of fun with our marketing this year. We did sort of a vintage 70s vibe, very, very bold. We wanted something that went on the posters that somebody could see from 40 feet away, and I think we absolutely achieved that. We also did a lot of constant contact email blasts with that. So when Liz was talking about how people were coming in and they were repeating from, being in the Learn Shops before, we capture those emails, and those emails go into our constant contact. So we have a direct line to them every single time we offer classes. And it was really exciting to sort of see, we'd send out an email and then we'd just sit there and wait. And we would start seeing the registrations roll in. which was pretty cool. And sort of going up to that, if you look in the numbers in the green for October, we see the open rate of constant contact jumped from our typical 40 to 41% up to 48%. And that was happening specifically when we were releasing the Learn Shop information. So yes, we do spend a lot for constant contact. We spend a lot, every time we add, several hundred people, it moves us up to a new tier that we have to pay more money for. But we're seeing the results for it, and we're seeing those results in real time, which is pretty exciting to see. In terms of other digital media projects, we now have a brand new restaurant page on the website. So if you haven't seen that yet, I highly suggest checking it out. We're kind of streamlining the process. We're changing up how we do a lot of our pages to where a lot of them now have external links. I know before, for example, let's say if you went into the restaurant page and you clicked on Papalinos, it would take you to another page on our website that would tell you a little bit about Papalinos and give you their contact information, which was great, but that means we have all these other pages that we're constantly having to update. So what we've done is I went through and researched a lot of other tourism websites to see sort of how they were doing things, and they were using a lot of external links. So now when you click on the picture or the title of the restaurant or the name of the restaurant, it'll take you to their page, which means you're getting all of the most updated information, their menus, their hours. So as they update, it's automatically updating for us. The other kind of cool thing that we added is that now we have just a little snippet of their address listed below, and if you click on that address, it will give you directions from wherever you are. So now every single restaurant links to Google Maps. So that was kind of a cool change for us. It doesn't look a whole lot different, just the functionality is different. But then we're also getting ready to do that. I've started it, and I'm about 30% through doing our lodging page the same way. So now, especially with our hotels, our Airbnbs, people will be able to click on it and immediately go to a page where they can reserve. So we're really sort of streamlining these processes and making it a lot more user-friendly for the people who are on our website. So I've been pretty excited working on that. So we've been working with Black Box Media. I'm not sure if Donna has really talked about this much in the past, but with our ARPA funding, we have specific funding for marketing, and it has to be used on new pieces. And one of the things that Donna and I talked about at length was how, we want this really great, high quality product photography. And if we have to spend this money, why not put it back into our own community? So we were really excited to bring on Black Box Media to do some photos for us, and you're going to start seeing more and more of those roll out in our paid advertising. The photos were absolutely phenomenal. Sarah Jack just blew it out of the water. So we were really excited to get those and hope to be working with them more in the future. For videos, I talked about this a little bit in the last meeting because we were getting ready to start it. But we did 2 Small Business Saturday video interviews. And basically what I did is I sent an email out to all of our businesses and said, if you want to be a part of this, let me know. And the first 2 people to respond were Sunhouse Craft and Peacecraft. So I took a day and went and met with them, and we recorded just small interviews about how they came to Berea, why they set up shop in Berea, why Berea is important to them, and why our community needed to support small business. So those videos can be found on our Facebook, and they will shortly be found on our YouTube. So our regional team has been working as well. They are also revamping their website, and they're working with a company called Coomer. Coomer is actually the company that also did all of the Joyride campaign. So they're a really big company. They're completely revamping the Bluegrass Region website. So we have been working on providing them new information, up-to-date information, and photos for them. And since it has been 2 months, that means it's been 2 months, or it's been since then that we've worked with the Crossroads TV crew. So Crossroads, this was part of our package deal through RPM. That they are a television show, a streaming show out of Louisville, and they came down to film a couple days in Berea. We went to Honeysuckle, we went to the Pinnacles, we went to Owsley Fork, which I got stuck in the mud in, but that's a whole other story. But they filmed this really great 30-minute piece on Berea. So that should be coming out soon. We're pretty excited about that. As Donna mentioned, we have the new banners and flags for Old Town. Thank you all so much for the design that you chose, because once it was printed, it came out great. I'm really excited to see more color, more vibrancy, and once we get all of that up, as Donna mentioned, we'll start working on the signs next, so everything matches and we have a cohesive look throughout the town. Okay. Non-marketing projects. Okay, so we finished out the 2023 Pavilion Concert Series. We ended up with over 600 guests in total for the year, which was between a 35 to 40% increase on our numbers from last year. We just about froze at that last concert, but Nick Cassetta was such a trooper, and we all had a great time, and I ended up getting one of my favorite stories from that night. So, to back up a couple weeks, there were a few people at Tree Week for the Al Allison Ruth concert, and they had just moved here from Alaska. And of course, the first thing that I asked them was, how did you end up here from Alaska? And the gentleman said, well, my wife wanted a true American experience, and I just pulled out a map and let her point, and we ended up with Kentucky and did some research and found that Berea was where they wanted to land. And so they were really excited because they just happened up on our event that day, and I talked to them about, a lot of the things that we offer and where they could find this information. And lo and behold, the next week with Nick Cassetta in our 40-degree weather out there at the pavilion, they were all bundled up, they were ready for a concert. So it was really exciting to see people who are brand new to our community wanting to be engaged and wanting to get that information. So as Nancy mentioned, the bus tours, we've had an absolute blast with. Yes, it was more work, it was more time, but I officially volunteer myself to do step-on tours because it has been a blast getting to meet some of these people and to talk about the town. A lot of the talking about the town that I do is from behind a computer screen. So having that opportunity to actually be out and face-to-face, it was a really great experience. Shop Small Saturday. So we partner with, we are considered a community partner or a neighborhood champion with American Express. And basically what we do is we fill out this big form about why we want to help small business, and then they send us a big box of goodies to hand out. This year we were fortunate enough to be able to get 2 of those boxes, and because of that meant that we had enough collateral for every small shop and restaurant in town. So we took a day. It was Donna, Valerie Henderson, Nancy, and I, and we split up the town and just handed things out for hours to really get people to, promote themselves and to really talk up the importance of Small Business Saturday. After Small Business Saturday, of course, we had the Kids Holiday Art Gallery as part of the Merry Mingling. This was kind of my baby, but I'm telling you, it would not have happened without Liz and KEDC. Because it was that connection that she made with the art teacher from Berea community that got her really excited to participate. So they had 97 pieces of art from Berea community. We had 116 pieces all together, enough to fill up that entire side of the hotel. Now, if you're interested in seeing any of the ornaments that the kids created with the Parks and Rec program where they partnered with us, that tree is still up and you can actually see it in the window of the hotel. It'll be there up until after Christmas. So all of their ornaments are still up there. In what I can't say free time, but and what little time I found, in the midst of all of that, I am also working now on creating a media manager training guide. I think back to all of the things that I've learned in the last year and a half as media manager, and things that I wish I would have known, or things that I've found that have made the job easier for me. So I'm working on creating a big old reference binder for the person who comes after me that will hopefully help them be able to hit the ground running as well. Any questions?
Danny, I don't have a question. I just want to add to the banners. Donna did send those out, and I think they're pretty, and I always think a pretty town is so welcoming. So I am excited to see the new banners up.
It's going to be pretty cool.
You just amaze me, girl, with your enthusiasm. I mean, your energy you bring, and to take the time, you're taking the time to help with the coach, all of you. And then she's doing a training manual for the next person taking the position. I mean, that right there, you just set the bar very high, and I'm so proud you're part of our
Thank you
community.
so much. Anything else?
Any other? All right, thank you, Danny. All right, next on the agenda is any open commissioner comments by anybody, or points they want to make, or future
Well,
plans.
I'll just continue with, I hear so much of you all, Donna, you all you bridge things together, the Artisan Center. I remember whenever we kind of had a conflict with the Artisan Center. And is it my understanding you all are working with Berea College? They're using some of your spaces. And to me, I just see camaraderie in our community and what you're doing. And I can't say enough about the decorations down on not just Old Town, but the park. Those are new little lights. And I notice that the bicycles, I mean, I just want to continue beautifying and to where people come just because we have so many lights in this town. And I think it's not just what you all are doing. If you look at the homes, it's infectious. They all are starting to, you just drive down Center Street and Jefferson Street, and houses that I've not seen decorated since I was a child here are decorating again. And that's your all's hard work. Thank you.
I think the Christmas lights are great. A lot of work went into those. I think Brian Reed's doing a good job with the toll building renovation. We did tour it. It looks good. I think Mr. Cheeks is doing a good job. And reach out to a new business that I didn't know was around was Bert's Speak Cheesy on North Broadway. That place is a pretty good place to eat. So that's my comments.
Anything else? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Any opposed? All right, this Wednesday, December 13th meeting of the Berea Tourism Commission is adjourned. Thank you for your participation. Bruce, you got a second?